This section of the presentation will provide information and guidance about the different aspects of record storage. In order to ensure that we're acting as good stewards of the university records and information under our control, we will need to take the time to learn the best way to store these materials. Due to the high cost of conditioned office space, storage of inactive records within a department is generally discouraged. For departments that choose to store inactive records under their own supervision, there are several aspects to take into account. Records should be stored in containers designed for record storage purposes, such as filing cabinets or records boxes. When storing records in records boxes, be sure to load the box with just enough space to allow for easy removal of folders, but without leaving too much space. An ideal box is a 10 by 12 by 15 inch banker-style box like the one pictured. Printer paper boxes are not sturdy and should be avoided. 2-foot long records boxes should also be avoided due to their weight when full. Folders should not be stored in a stack, but rather they should be stored upright to allow for retrieval without disturbing nearby folders. The use of hanging folders is encouraged when using filing cabinets. Records should be arranged in a manner which allows for easy retrieval and disposal. When possible, avoid storing together different categories of records or records that cover a wide variety of time, as this can hinder retrieval and disposal. Each folder should have a unique title. Each box or file cabinet drawer should also be labeled with a unique title to identify and distinguish its contents from other records. The label will typically also include a date range and a box or file cabinet drawer number. A list of the locations and contents of all records, including date range and box number, should be maintained to identify the office they belong to ensure easy retrieval, and to account for the records. In addition to the elements of record storage related to the records themselves, there are aspects to be aware of that are related to the storage environment and security. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat or cold, or excessive temperature variations should be avoided. Unconditioned space, such as attics or outbuildings, may be acceptable for storage of material requiring only short-term retention, but should be monitored periodically for environmental changes that may have adverse effects on the records. Excessive humidity can promote the growth of mold. Humidity should not exceed 60%, while long-term or sensitive materials should ideally be stored below 40% humidity. Proper air circulation is an important factor in regulating the effects of humidity, a task difficult to accomplish in many basement spaces. Water is one of the greatest threats to records. Floods, burst pipes, and roof leaks are all common sources of water that can rapidly destroy records. Care should be taken to protect against such sources of damage. Records should be stored at least 3 inches off the ground on shelving or pallets. Where possible, records should be located away from overhead sources of water, including pipes and sprinkler systems, or they should be covered to prevent damage caused by a possible leak. If your records do get wet, contact the RIMS office as soon as possible for assistance. There are a variety of insects and rodents that will cause damage to files. Storage areas should be inspected on a regular basis for the presence of pests, and appropriate pest control measures should be implemented as soon as possible if pests are detected. Avoid the storage or consumption of food near record storage areas to limit the potential of attracting pests to these areas. The location for stored records should be carefully chosen to minimize the potential for unauthorized personnel having access to the records. Records should be stored in a locked environment, ideally behind a keyed door with no other easy access points, such as windows. A key log should be maintained in order to know who has access to the space. Using locking file cabinets may also be considered when shared access is needed for the space. The storage space should be in a visible location and regularly visited in order to identify actual or attempted vandalism. The storage space should also have sufficient lighting to allow staff to work in the space safely. When working in the space, care should be exercised to ensure the shelves and cabinets do not tip due to an unbalanced weight distribution. Boxes should not be stacked more than 4 to 5 high to prevent their collapse or accidental toppling. Storage above shoulder height requires additional safety considerations, such as the use of a stepladder, and should be avoided if at all possible. If your unit would like to take advantage of non-departmental storage locations, there are other options available. There are several contracted vendors approved for off-campus storage. You can find more information about these vendors by visiting the Inactive Record Storage page of the RIMS website. In addition, there are 2 RIMS record storage facilities that provide a no-cost, secure method of storage for inactive records which are not yet eligible for disposal. Located on the Urbana and Springfield campuses, these facilities are available for use by any unit on any campus. The Urbana-Champaign facility is capable of holding more than 4,000 boxes of records, while the Springfield facility is capable of holding over 1,000 boxes. To request your inactive records be stored in one of the RIMS record storage facilities, follow the RIMS record storage facility process as documented on the inactive record storage page of the RIMS website. The process requires that you submit an inventory of material that your department would like to store in the facility. You'll be contacted within a few days of submitting the inventory with any questions RIMS might have and to help coordinate with the transfer of boxes.